see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good evening, Palm Bay. How is everyone doing? Welcome to the 2024 Palm Bay City Council Seat 2 debates. I'm your host and moderator, Kevin Vassiana. I will be pretty much navigating tonight's operation, and you guys know who I am. And welcome to the platform. For those who are new to the platform, I need your favor, please. So this debate is successful, please like and share this video. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the share button, share it to your neighbors, share it to your friend, so the word can get out of what we're doing here. Show me that you support me. It takes a lot of time and hours to put together these questions. And I would like the motivation to keep going. Frankly, that's what I need from you, the motivation to keep going. So please hit the like button, hit the share button, so we can continue this work. I will need to make some formal announcements so you are aware. Seat five, as you can see tonight, we interviewed Jimmy Backus at 7:00. And we're unfortunately not able to do a C5 debate. And the reason is because the individuals couldn't come to a decision and a good time to do that debate. So I have opted to do solo interviews. So any individuals that's running in seat 5, if you have not reached out to me yet, please do so. So I can schedule a time that's appropriate for you so we can do that one-on-one interview. In regards to seat 3, there will not be a seat 3 debate. And the reason being because one of the individuals, Chandler, needed to do only an in-person debate, which I, as your host, cannot facilitate. I do not have the budget or the means to do that. So I told him the only way I can do this is virtual. I'm a one-man show, and this is how I operate. I do my things virtually at the moment. And if God spare my life and send me some funds along the way, then at some point in time I'll venture out. But right now, it is all done virtually. So there's an option if he's watching tonight. There's an option for both candidates to appear on the show on a solo. So you can choose to contact me, either candidate Alfie or Chandler, and say, I want to do a solo interview. But right now, Chandler has opted not to do a debate because he only wants to do it in person, which I cannot facilitate. Okay? All right. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Tonight's rule for the debate. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer their questions. They will have 30 seconds for rebuttal if they so choose to do a rebuttal. and they will have 1 minute for opening statement and 2 minutes for closing statement. These are the rules. I will not take questions from the audience because the questions already set up so we can hit that 1 hour mark and you can guys can go forth and watch the VP debates tonight. So it's neatly set up so we can get this done hopefully within our time frame. So I will not be taking fielding questions from the audience. We cannot do that in a debate format. It's not possible. Solo interviews, yes, but not in a debate format. Okay? All right. So let's meet the candidates. Let's bring them on stage. Good evening, sirs. Welcome to the platform.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Good evening, Kevin. How are you?
Great, sirs. Great. Welcome. All right. We didn't do a coin toss, so we don't know who's going to go first. As far as the opening statement, who wants to go first?
Donnie can go first. I'm the challenger, man. You can.
All right. So you want Donnie to go first?
Yeah, he can.
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you.
Hold on 1 second, Donnie. I'm going to remove myself from the screen. I'm going to remove Mike from the screen. And Mike, when he's done, I'm going to immediately put you up on the screen so you can do yours. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Great.
Kevin, once again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Mike, as well, thank you for the opportunity to answer to this call where we have an opportunity to extend and share a little bit about our vision for the city. Again, my name is Donnie Felix. I've proudly served you for the last 4 years. I'm again humbly come before you to ask you for another opportunity to continue serving you. I truly believe I'm passionate about the city of Palm Bay. I'm very vested. That's where my kids are being raised. And now I'm a grandpa. They're proud grandfather. I'm excited to certainly contribute. And I have contributed to the city for, God, since 2008. I got actively involved. Certainly, hold a political office was never in my purview, but as you know, sometimes what you do socially, civically, also become a byproduct. The political aspect become a byproduct of what I was doing, and with joy. I believe I've given a lot to the city. Serve on Park and Recreation Board for over 8 years. Planning and zoning for 3 years. So I came in, hit the ground running with a lot of experience and understanding. Not saying not to count my professional years, 19 years of management with a great public supermarket. Also, I was a small business banker and personal banker with Wells Fargo. So all of that, I think, attribute to my performance. I believe if you allow me another 4 years, I would continue to serve Lee with honor and integrity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donnie. All right, Mike, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Hammer. I'm actually born and raised here. My family is actually one of the founders of Melbourne and West Melbourne and Palm Bay and whatnot. And I'm a father. I'm a husband of 2 awesome kids, Austin and Jace, both boys. I've been a football coach here in Palm Bay and in West Melbourne for the last 22 years. So I've been giving back to the community almost my whole life. I went to EMT school. I went to firefighter school. I was a Brevard County volunteer firefighter. I was actually a Malabar volunteer firefighter until I went to fire school. And as soon as I got done with fire school, Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. So I went to New Orleans and gave my time to help survivors there. And when I came back to Palm Bay, I was going to take my job at the fire department in Palm Bay. And I had been gone for so long that I had to redo my school. Well, my father worked for the city of Palm Bay for 30 years. My grandmother worked for the city of Palm Bay for 30 years. So I took a job in Public Works, working for Public Works, and I started at the ground level. And I made my way up to procurement and inventory for the Fleet Services Department, where I worked for almost 15 years. And I found a little bit of corruption there, and actually a lot of corruption, and a lot of things that I didn't want to be part of. So I asked the city if they would fix it, and if they didn't, I was going to leave and fix it from the outside. Well, they didn't fix it, so I left, and here I am trying to fix it from the outside.
Okay. You still have time on the clock, but that's great.
Okay. I'm just looking to make things, make things better. Give the community a voice, because right now I feel the city doesn't have a voice, and I feel a lot of the things that the city's wanting and needing aren't being addressed.
Okay.
And yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. With that said, the first question is going to go to Mike. And so I'm going to remove, so Donnie can hear the question. I'm going to have both parties on the screen. Palm Bay's population, we're talking about infrastructure, guys. Palm Bay's population is growing quickly and it's putting a lot of pressure on our infrastructure. How would you go about addressing the gaps in the roadways, utilities, the public service? It's to accommodate growth. And what's your plan for funding the changes? Mike.
So the first thing I would say is a lot of the things that we need to start doing, they're actually starting to do right now. Implementing the proper impact fees, I think, is very, very, very important. And I don't want to address just the raising of them. I want to address attaching the amounts that go to where the designated money goes to is extremely important. I think we should be dealing a lot more with our county, and our county should be more responsible for our growth of our roads, especially Babcock Street. As of right now, Babcock Street's one of the most, traveled streets that we have, and it's still 2 lanes all the way down to the parkway from Malabar Road. There's a lot of different ways that I think we can be bringing in more money, and I think we can be having a little bit more accountability and having people that are more experienced in their jobs and accessing the things that we need to do to grow here. The city of Palm Bay only has 2 Palm Bay roads that are 4 lanes. We have Port Malabar Boulevard and Emerson's not even 4 lanes the whole way, and neither is Port Malabar Boulevard. We only have two roads in the whole, and 140,000 citizen city that is 4 lanes. And I think a lot of that needs to be addressed. And I think a little bit more experienced staff that is experienced with dealing with the things that we're going through right now is going to be a key to moving forward with our change that we need.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mike. And so, Donnie, it's going to be your turn.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I think it's great. Mike's touched on a lot of good point. But what I would say is that, and as Mike said, I mean, a lot of these things are being addressed. What it's important to speak on is the fact that, so let's go back. I know, Kevin, you're very aware, and this project is dear and near to your heart. I would expect at some point you're going to talk about that when it comes to infrastructure, your involvement back in 2016, my engagement as well when you call me and with former Councilman Anderson, I know lead the way with the municipal bond to pave the road. I have to say, yes, we had a few bumps in the way, but that was a good move. That was when a municipal bond for infrastructure was not popular. But because of a resident like you and myself, we believe we saw the possibility. We pushed forward, and now, over 55%, close to 60% now of our roadways are being paved. Now, it's important. We can say all we want, all these wish lists, right? It costs a lot of money. Find a ways to fund this project. It's one thing to say, we all know, we all aware they exist. We have the needs, and we can visibly see it. If you travel the city in the morning or in the afternoon, especially during the wash hours, we right there. But it's just a matter of how do we fund this project. I can tell you, we have some strong advocate. I'm one of them. The mayor's one of them. On the TPO, we sit on the TPO. What we didn't have before previous administration is that we didn't have strong advocate. We got on the TPO 3 years ago. Those projects, the winding of Malabar, which already funded, the PDN is done. We currently in the design phase, as Mike touched on. Malabar will be up from Minton all the way out to the Heritage Parkway, out there by Heritage High School, it will be 4-lane. It's a matter of finding a funding. It's extremely expensive, right? Those roadway projects are extremely expensive. I don't think most people understand how expensive they are. Yes, we pay taxes. The revenue is not enough. That's why we have to find other means. That's why I took 2 trips to DC this year and Tallahassee, constantly trying to work with our lawmakers to bring those money in to address these. But you're certainly being looked at, and we are finding ways to fix them.
Okay, thank you for your question. Any rebuttal from anybody? No.
I will say this. Are we going to talk about the road bond later?
At some point, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and address that now, since we have the board of, we are on that subject, and so let's go ahead and just get it out of the way. So my concerns, and I've shared this with Donnie, and Mike have probably heard me say this, is that I believe the approach that Lord, I'm getting a brain freeze right now. I forgot his name. Former councilman
Anderson.
Not Anderson.
Former councilman.
Yeah, Brian Anderson.
Not that Brian.
No, Santiago.
No, the one that left. The one
that Jeff Bailey.
Jeff Bailey. His approach of trying to make sure that we maintain proper reserves for the road bond, proper reserves for the road maintenance program. At the time, I was fully on board on what he was doing, and so that's my concern. So my question to you guys is, what will you do to ensure that our maintenance fund is properly secured, and that we do not go into the piggy bank and try to raid it for other projects? So who want to take it first?
Well, the projects can't. It's not budgetary allowed to use maintenance funds on a new project, because especially with the road bond can only be used on renewing the roads that are there. You are not allowed to expand roads. You're not allowed to do anything. And touching on what he was saying about how roads are expensive, when you're going to expand a road, and this is when I was in Public Works. It was for every 100 feet, it's $300,000. So it's not a cheap task. But the thing is, with the road bond, and we got ourselves upside down anyways, because with Public Works, they hired a company to come in, and they actually have a car that looks like a spider on the roof. And this thing drove around all of Palm Bay for almost a full year. And it went through and it said what's wrong with each road, how long it's going to take, how much it's going to take, and they prioritized it on which is the worst and which is the where it needs to go. And it was $250 million. It was supposed to be $250 million to do these streets. How we came up with the number 150? Every single person in Public Works looked at each other and said, "That's not enough money," and we know it. So I think we're starting off, behind the pendulum already. And, budgetary wise, if you're going to have something in maintenance, it can't be used to expand anyways.
Okay, thanks for your response. Go ahead, Donnie.
Yeah, Kevin, I believe the question was, how are we going to ensure that the maintenance fund is being funded, right? I believe that was specific.
That was pretty much the question, yes.
Right. So to answer specifically, I can tell you today, Kevin, as you know, I know you've been paying attention to the decision we've made in the last 3 years. This administration assured that we create opportunity to fund and keep a healthy maintenance fund, where what happened in the last 20 years, where all our roadways got deteriorated to the point where we need to do 250. Mike mentioned 250 million, and I'll touch on that, but he is correct. 150 was way on the budget. Again, Kevin, you may be able to tell us where that number came from, because you had some intel. But anyway, that was way under budget. But go back to the specific question. I can tell you today, Kevin, we have a quite healthy maintenance fund. We have a certain percentage of our yearly budget that attribute to our maintenance, a road maintenance fund. Not only that, any property, excess property, city property that's being sold, they go straight. That fund goes straight to our maintenance fund. The BCRA, we got some funding. BCRA is getting to sunset. We got that excess 1 million dollars going to that fund. So I can proudly say, because of our leadership, we made sure we have. So 5 years from now, the road that we did 5 years ago, so we have enough fund to sustain, to keep us going. Now, what we need to address is the shortage Mike mentioned earlier. Yes, from the beginning, the 150 million was a fake number. It wasn't correct. Not to count the 3 years of COVID. We all know what COVID did to the economy, what COVID did to us in terms of, material shortage and so on, and supply chain issues. So that just still impact our process. That's what contributes to the shortage we have today. We have about, I believe, 56 million for Unit 49. Unit 49 will be addressed, and that's where we are short. Unit 49 will be last, but we will find a way to get Unit 49 taken care of.
So at this point, you can tell me that, and you can tell the residents that's only one unit that's not where we have not finished.
That's correct. We're still going to remember it's an 8 years process, right? We're in year 6, but Unit 49 will be the last to address. That's where the shortage is. I think roughly it's about 56 million. But we will come up.
Donnie, kind of, so the residents who are not aware about these units, can you tell them the major corridor where that Unit 49 line?
So Unit 49 is close to the compound. If you go down Osmosis West towards the compound in Madden, this is the main intersection.
Okay, thanks for that information. Yeah, I just want to give the residents a view of where that unit is, just in case you're wondering why my street is not paved. They know if they're lying that unit. Okay, great. Any rebuttals?
I just want to touch on that as well. A lot of that maintenance, or a lot of that maintenance program, is they're including a slurry seal that is kind of what GDC got us into the problem we're in right now. So that's kind of one of the things they're using to save money, where the emulsification is a lot lower, but it's a slurry seal, and it seals the road, but I don't. There might be numbers to back it up, but right. Where we are right now kind of backs up my thoughts.
And to answer Donnie's question, that number, when I was chairman of the road bond initiative back then, came from a former public works director. Not saying their names, and you probably know who that is. Yeah. He's no longer with the city. But anyways, let's keep going.
Jarvis Middleton actually brought the 250, and
well, I didn't call any names. All right, let's keep going. Many residents did ask to see it. Many residents feel that Palm Bay is growing too fast without enough planning to keep things sustainable. What would you do to promote growth that balance economic development with long-term sustainability? Let's start out with Donnie this time.
So Kevin, you are correct. We've seen over 20% of growth within the last 5 years. From 2017 to 2023, the city have grown over 20%. And let me say as well, we're not just seeing this growth. Palm Bay is not the only place seeing that growth. This is it's a movement of people that we've seen all over remember, we live in the Sunshine State. Everybody from up north especially want a piece of that Sunshine State. So we have a lot to offer. So the great exodus, as they said, right? COVID caused a lot of that. A lot of people didn't, when they moved and when they trying to escape from up north, they stop here. They stop here. For a long time, Florida had about 900 people that crossed the border from the north side into our state. Now, during COVID, that number jumped from 900 per day to 1,300 per day. Guess what? South Florida is saturated as well. The Tri-County. Guess where they're coming? They're coming here. Growth, in a sense, it's inevitable. Growth going to happen. To your point, Kevin, sustainability, it is important. That's something that we have a sustainability board, advisory board, where we get the citizens involved, giving us feedback. Yes, certainly we've seen a rapid growth in a long time. That's why we're trying to catch up. That's why we're addressing, at the same time, we're addressing our public safety. I'm sure you will have a specific question on that. We're making move to where we're assuring that we're building more fire station. We appropriating funding, jobs. We're creating opportunity, economic opportunity, to where we inviting new company to come to our city with a bunch of incentive, in which hopefully I can, have an opportunity to talk about some of these different things we've created, or administration created. So I believe, yes, we've seen a rapid growth in the last 5 years, but we're making things to adjust to the growth, and also create opportunity as well for the people that come in here.
Okay, Mike, go ahead. It's your turn.
All right, can you repeat the question real quick, just so I can
Oh,
make sure I
sure.
answer it all the way?
Many residents feel that Palm Bay is growing too fast without enough planning to keep things sustainable. What would you do to promote growth that balance economic development with long-term sustainability?
Well, the first thing that we need to realize is we need to create a self-sustaining Palm Bay. Right now, our budget relies on over 80% of what the people give us. The fact of, when you look at what Palm Bay, actually gets, it's called a livability score, and we're around a 70. The only thing that we have an A in is our housing is affordable and our cost of living is affordable here in Palm Bay. Our amenities are an F. Our commute is a C. Crime's a D. Employment's a D. Health is a D. And we need to start by bettering those things. That's going to bring people here. That's going to bring businesses here. One of the things that I want to start doing is start giving businesses a reason to be here. Right now, they don't have a reason to be here. Right now, we have our largest group of our highest paid people in Palm Bay is Harris. We should be building our places for them to go eat, places for them to go after work. We need to have a way to bring commercial business here and take that commercial, the commercial tax, take the burden off the resident, and I would say increase it more for us. I think once we start building a better place for people, it's going to in turn come better.
Okay. All right. You had 1 minute left on the clock, but you're good.
I do have a minute.
Yeah, you want to wrap it up?
Actually building it to be safer, providing more amenities. Like I said, we're an F for amenities. We need to be doing more for people here. We need to have restaurants. I mean, it is awesome. We have a Chipotle and a Dairy Queen in Palm Bay now. But what are we doing to bring in actual businesses that actually provide higher paying jobs? I think that's something we need to touch more on. That's one of the reasons I reached out to BMX to bring them here to Palm Bay. Their ROI shows almost $2.6 million that it brings to a community like ours per annual year. So, and that's just from BMX. I think we need to approach things like that.
Yeah, and I will be having a question about the compound and that kind of thing here in a minute. Is there a rebuttal for you guys?
Kevin?
Is there a rebuttal?
Yes. So Mike did a pretty good job, spit out a lot of information, very fast, very quick. One thing though, I think it's important, it's worth noting. I try to talk from a point of facts. Mike, would you, for the audience, mention your source of information? You throw a lot of numbers. Would you said where you get this information? Would you state it, or for the audience? Because I think it's important that we speak from a point of facts. Don't just say things, make it sound sensational. But I can't see. Would you repeat it? Would you say I can't? Can you see, Kevin? I can't see. Can you?
Areavibes.com.
Okay, how credible is that? I mean, how do we?
A lot of places use it.
No, I just wanted to state it out there. I think it's important we speak from a point of facts. I don't think that's very factual, but let me counter that a little bit, Mike. It's not the job of the city government to create those things. We create an environment. What we've done, let me tell you what we've done to create this environment. This administration, what we did, we came up with program like tax abatement, tax inducement, where we encourage an environment. We create opportunities for this company to come in our city, open those businesses. We said, hey, if you create 10 jobs, if you create 30 jobs, we'll give you X tax abatement. It's a very great program. Because of that, let me tell you what you think. Despite yours, that's why I'm trying to speak from a point of fact. We created 2,800 jobs in the last 3 years. Some of them are anticipated job. Woke Valley, you heard about that. Those are fact. Woke Valley.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, guys.
MT, Leo, those are $100+ thousand jobs.
And
Plus
2,300 of them were
plus 318 million of capital improvement. So just to say that with this, that, or the other thing I want to say as well, there's a reason why
wrap it up though, Donnie, because you only have 30-second rebuttal.
I was saying we want to make sure we speak on a point of facts, not just spilling things out, and give the backing of where you get this information, how factual they are, so people can understand.
It's what a lot of people look
at. All right. So, Richard, did you want to opine on what he said before we move on to the next question?
Areavibes.com. And yes, as a city council member, it is not our job or your job to do all these things, but you are responsible for the staff that is supposed to be doing this. And when you have and I agree with you on a lot of the things that you want to see in our future, but there's a staff that should be doing that. And when the staff isn't doing what you and the council wants to see happening, that's when something needs to be addressed, and that is your job.
Okay. All right. So we can have equal time, folks. Make sure that you stick with that 30-second rebuttal. Okay. Let's talk about impact fees, guys. Impact fees from new developments are supposed to help pay for infrastructure improvements. I've seen a lot of commentary on this on social media from the residents. So residents feel that these aren't being used properly, and they're feeling short. So they're falling short. So what changes would you propose to make sure developers contribute fairly and the funds are managed effectively? And so we're going to start with Mike this time around.
I'm going to say I back our council 100% on doing what they're doing right now with impact fees. As of right now, it's looking like they're going towards the maximum that we should be reaching. For every 4 years, you can only reach 50%. And I think they're doing the exact right thing they should be doing. On the backside of that, I would like to see when the impact fees are mentioned, I would like to see when a community moves into Palm Bay, and, especially the ones that have been here, I would like to see the impact fees for those houses taken up front. So the infrastructure, the police, the fire, the roads, everything can be done before the homes are done. So I think it's not something that's new to people. It's something that we were actually doing on a regular basis in 2016 before the new city leadership came in. And I think it's something we need to be doing again, especially when we know, things like this are going to be popping up. It's one of our biggest things is our infrastructure. And I think we're on the right path right now. And I commend everybody doing what they're doing. We're going to go after the maximum we can. And I think we're on the right track.
Okay. Anything else to say? Next 30 seconds. You good? All right. I just want to make sure because you do have time left on the clock.
Okay.
All right. So, Donnie.
Kevin, I think there's an opportunity to clarify that impact fees are. I don't think there's a mismanagement in terms of impact fee. Impact fees are dictated how they should be using by state statute. So it's not what staff is doing with the impact fees. impact fees can only utilize impact fees. Essentially, just the word impact is the impact that new development have on our roadways, have on our the stress that new development put on our first responders, the utilization of our parks, and that's what an impact fee is. Number one, they are collecting, for the most part, they are collecting up front. They get collected up front. That's why an impact fee is a major cost for a developer up front. A lot of time, that's what dictate whether a development go move forward or not. And we utilize what we call a proportional fair share. Proportional fair share. New developments come in. Hey, you have to bring sewer wherever it may be. You have to bring water wherever it may be. So the city looked at their fair share, the impact that new development going to have on that roadways. So we split the difference or what have you. So impact fees, absolutely, Mike is correct. We are addressing impact fee accordingly. In the past, there's somewhere we didn't raise it. For the record, I'm not always a big fan of impact fees because I'm afraid it's gonna be passed on. But I supported impact fees because I understand. I've built several projects, and I understand. I gladly paid because I know we got to contribute because that new development will have an impact on our community. We have to pay it. But certainly a lot of these impact fees are dictated by state statute. How, for example, why fire impact fees not being used to hire firefighters? We can't. Impact fee is supposed to be applied for the building of a certain equipment. So it's very specifically by law, by state statute, how impact fees should be used. So hopefully, I hope this little piece of information is helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing to fix that confusion as well is impact fees from one district can't be used in another district. So if they're building a new development out off of Malabar, or even in 32909, for example, if you get impact fees in 32909, you can only use those impact fees within 32909. So, you can't say, oh, there's a new development out here. Why is this place not getting done because we're getting all these impact fees? It has to be done within that region.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of residents are not aware of that. I can see the commentary on social media, and sometimes I want to correct them, but I was like, you know what? I have to
It's
stay
people like you
neutral
doing
because
things like this that they learn that. So
yeah, so I'm glad we have these forums will hopefully educate them so they can know. I mean, the impact fees, we can use it for a park, right, Donnie? And Mike, we can use it for a park in that location
correct.
and that kind of
Well,
thing.
that's from the PAT. We have multiple
Mhm.
draws, right? Impact fees for park, impact fees for first responders. So you cannot commingle them.
Right. Okay, great. All right, guys, let's move it along. Donnie, you're going to be up next. And so the question for you is, and Mike, the county commission recently approved a very big project, and you guys know who I'm going with this. And this has to do with the Santerra Lakes by Babcock, and it's going to have a severe impact on the city of Palm Bay. Right? They're planning to put over 2,700 homes, I heard, out in that area. So my question to you is, how do you plan to address the growth that's going to impact our area, our traffic, our roads, and overall city resources? And are we equipped to handle this rapid expansion? What are your thoughts? If you get on the dais, Mike, I need to hear from you. What would you do to address the concerns of the residents, especially the folks across the street that will be impacted as well? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, there's a number of things I can say. The first one is we're not equipped to handle what we have right now. Not even talking about about growth. Secondly, this is a county project that I don't think we even are able to even have a say in it. I was told and I was leaked something saying that we are going to be responsible for the city water and the city sewer that is out there. I have not got back an actual a real answer to it. It is something that I am following closely. I do not approve it, but I don't think as one council member or even having 5 up there being against it, we're going to be able to have any say in it whatsoever. I do believe at one point it's going to be annexed, and I don't agree with it because as of right now, we're not going to have any say in it. But one day we're going to be responsible for it.
Okay.
Donnie probably knows a little bit more about it than I do.
Right.
Okay, yeah, and that's why I put the question on this in that forum, because I know it's going to have an impact on us. So Donnie, you being the incumbent sitting on the dice, you probably have more information. Go ahead.
Without a doubt. No, not really. We don't have a whole lot of this. This was really kind of news to us as well, not just very recently. Well, so the county, number one, I think Mike touched on that. Relationship is important, right? Building that relationship. Well, intergovernment relationships are very critical. I think having an understanding, building that, continue having that conversation. I know when this thing came up first, is we gave staff direction to start communicating, find out exactly, get a little more information on that and how, and start having those conversations in the front end, where we know how to how to address that. Certainly our roadways right now, Babcock is at capacity. I do agree. I mean, there's no way. Just imagine that kind of impact, 2,700 home, how much of an impact that would have on Babcock currently, when it comes to water and sewer. Now, with that, there's an opportunity, because when we provide those services, utility services, to another entity, for instance, we provide water to Town of Malabar, we provide sewer to Town of Malabar. So when we do so, we are able to make money. I mean, you remember, our utility department is an enterprise. They self-sustain. They make pretty decent revenue by supplying those services. Now, I don't know why it's hard to comment on that, because I don't have enough information as of yet. But certainly those conversations need to be had right now as we speak, and to find out exactly. We talked about proportional fair share, the impact 2,700 home will have on Babcock. So what is the county doing? How they can put their money together forward, so we can move forward. I know the widening of Babcock is on the list of priority for the county, for the TPO, I should say. I know it's not part of the top 3. So how can we move that up to make sure with such a development, how can we speed that up? So these are the conversations we need to have now. Our staff needs to communicate, and us start to get engaged with our counterpart as well from the county. Let me add that I'm glad there's going to be 2 new county commissioner. That I'm excited about. So
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing about the relationships is since I've started doing this, me and Donnie probably talk once a week. We have a great relationship, and whoever wins, we're still going to be working together, and we both have a great relationship.
Okay, thanks for that.
County commissioners coming in. So I think moving forward.
And can I segue and ask a question, because it's not on my list of questions, but one of the things I have not witnessed since I've been doing these things is a camaraderie between the Palm Bay City Council and the individuals sitting at the county level. I don't see, I don't know if it's happening or if it's taking place. And maybe Donnie can reflect on that, but I don't see that meeting of the minds and talking to the residents about the issues in our district. And so hopefully that's something that either of you, if you get reelected or if you get elected, can tackle at some point in time, because I think we need to see some open forums where the residents are invited and questions are asked and questions and answers are delivered to the residents. That's something I would love to see.
2016 was big on
Go ahead.
2016 was big on the separation of the city and the county. A lot of things went down in 2016 where a lot of people's egos got in the way of of what's best for the citizens. And I don't think
Yeah, I remember that, but we're not going to dwell into that right
Yeah,
now
I know, but
because we could probably going to need a whole other forum for that.
that's why we are where we are, and we just have, we
Yeah.
have to build a bridge. And
Yeah, that bridge has to be made because I think we're, a lot of burden is being placed on us, and then
Yeah.
okay, I don't want to digress.
I got it.
All right, Fred Poppy Park. Okay, and you probably know where I'm going with this question. Fred Poppy Park is a well-known spot in the community, but given the recent legal troubles with the former manager of the Parks and Recreation, Fred Poppy, who was arrested multiple times, is no longer with the city, from my understanding. And some people are wondering, should this park still be named after him? Your thoughts on this? Starting with who went last? I forgot. I think it's Don.
Mike,
Donnie, you got this. Go ahead.
let me I can speak to that in a couple of different aspects, Kevin. I think it's a good question that if our citizens are talking about, if there's a group of citizens that are talking about, it's worth talking about, right? So let me tell you, number one, Mr. Poppy, on a personal level, I think this man is a great man. He gave over 40 plus years, if I'm not mistaken, if not longer, to this business. He understands this business. This man breathe and live this business. He loved what he does. I think naming the park after him, and in fact, that's how far back I go. I was on the Park and Rec advisory board. I'm telling you, I'm one of the longest, maybe longest member in recent days that serve on that board. Over 8 years, I was the chair or vice chair at some point, vice chair and chair. So this man, is he deserving of it? Yes, he was deserving of it. I was a yes vote for it back then. Now, can we necessarily hold that against him to the point where his name should remain on the? This is not something that I personally want. I mean, again, I agree we should talk about it. Based on that, I think we all got our fair share of trouble in life, right? I mean, some of them, some public, some private. I don't think this is not something I would want to personally even discuss in terms of making a decision on. And I'm putting it out there at this time. And that's where I'm going to leave that, Kevin, because I know there might be potential of things going on in the background. But this is not something on a personal level I don't see enough in terms of his legal trouble. I wouldn't, consider that at this time.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mike. What are your thoughts on this?
Fred Poppy has been a parks administrator for 52 years. And I do want to touch on the fact that he is innocent until proven guilty. So I'm one of the people that I kind of don't even really want to even think of that. I mean, I've had discussions with a lot of people about it, and I would like to see where the case goes. I do know that he's no longer a city employee. I do know that he was on a PIP plan prior to this. And, after 52 years, he'd never gotten any trouble at all at work. He'd never been on, he'd never had anything happen to him at work. And he's on a PIP plan after 52 years. And when you read what it was just about, just random things that there's no answer to. So I can't look at what's being, given to me, and especially an innocent until proven guilty society that we have. I believe if somebody has something going on, like he obviously does, we need to be reaching out to him, especially he's given 52 years of service to us, and for us just to turn our backs on him. I mean, that doesn't excuse what's been done, but as a community, we need to, start putting our hand out for people, especially in a situation like this where I feel like he might need a hand. So eye on the backside of that. I just don't think it should be discussed until after everything comes out and a verdict is given.
Okay.
Kevin, can I clarify? Mr. Poppy, from what I understand, resigned. He didn't get fired. Just so a point
Yeah.
of clarification.
He's no longer with us.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for clearing that up. All right, guys. Thanks for giving your thoughts on that issue, because there's a lot of public discourse where that is concerned, as you know. All right. Let's talk about public safety. And we're kind of running out of time, but we need to get through these questions because a lot of these questions come from the residents. So Palm Bay is increasing in population, as we are aware. Crime rate is on is going up. Response times to these different areas in throughout the city is an issue. What steps would you take to strengthen public safety in the city of Palm Bay? And how would you make sure our police and fire departments have what they need to keep residents safe? That's my question. And I will start with Mike.
Okay. I'm going to go back to kind of giving a thumbs up to, our progress that we're going so far. Both police and fire have got new contracts. They're both getting more money now. They're both being able to provide more things. But on the backside of that, we're 238th out of 243 cities or municipalities in the state on how many officers per person. So there are some things that we need to address, and our council is addressing it via our impact fees. Our council's already addressed it via the new, all the new things they're giving, the city. We have a new fire station number 7, where the old fire station number 1 was. We just had the groundbreaking, I want to say a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. And, I think we've realized what we're doing or what we need. Now we need to make the steps forward. One thing I don't like is our fiscal year starts off in October 1. Here we are, October 1, and in the last, 2 months, these things are being addressed. Where one thing I would want to see, from my staff moving forward, is police and fire be put as a priority. So when we first get the money and our fiscal year starts over on October 1, police and fire is something we should be talking about now in the new fiscal year, and not wait until the end of our fiscal year to do that. And I think that's something that can, be helped moving forward.
Okay,
great. Thank you. Donnie?
Kevin, I think that's a great question. So I think Mike mentioned it. Yeah, but this council, I'm part of. I think it's pretty much unanimous with this council, where from day one we've decided we're going to make our public safety a priority. Our first responders, make sure to address their needs. I remember in 2020, December of 2020, one of the first vote I casted, and I'm super proud of it. If you remember back then, our police department, we had such a major bleeding. The moment we hire a new hire, we had somebody else from the county, another agency from the county, they were snatching them from us because we weren't paying them enough. One of the first vote I took was I never forget, was in late November or first week of December. We gave across the board, we gave everybody a 6% raise. We automatically bumped their rate. And we continue in that sense, right? If you remember ARPA fund, the COVID, what we refer to COVID money, the city of Palm Bay had 18 million. A big portion of it, we set things aside, money aside, to address police and fire needs, where we bought them new cameras and new equipment, new police cars. So we did everything we could, Kevin, to proper equip our department, including addressing internal things. With Chief Mario Ogello, he brought things like the wellness center within, so to address their mental and to address their pay. We recently
I don't know what happened. We lost him. Let's see if he comes back.
You might have got a phone call. I know
Yeah.
that's what happened to me last time, and that's what it did.
Yeah. Um. Hmm. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. We were doing so good. Technology is a funny thing. Um, sorry, folks. This is what happens with technology sometimes. You may have gotten a phone call. I don't know if he logged in on his phone, etc. Um, don't know what happened there. I'll give it a couple of minutes here before you maybe trying to log back in. There he is. There he is.
I'm so sorry. I
Okay.
think just, but anyway, as I was saying, is that we did everything we can. We just recently negotiated their contract. We currently have the best contract, top 3 in the county, where no longer we can lose. Now we're attracting new people or leaving other agencies throughout the county to come work for Palm Bay. So this is what some of the things we've done to be able to attract new. And Mike did mention the challenge we have with call response time. Yes, we have an issue, but those are issues where we are, as they come, we are addressing them. And I want to touch as well something Mike mentioned is that our budget, every department provide their budget fiscal, what they think they're going to need toward the year. But as we go throughout the year, we got new needs that arise. So we are addressing things such as, new police officer. That's why we're relying on designated fund balance. So to provide equipment as they come, you may budget for this and something change, then these things are being addressed. That's why we rely on designated balance
Right.
to
Okay.
address those
We
needs
got to keep moving,
for
Donnie, because of
yes,
time. So, do you have a rebuttal, Mike, or are you good
No,
with?
that's all
Okay.
good.
All right. All right. Let's talk, guys, about or we talk about so we address that. Let's. What question do I want to go to because of the time? Let's talk about economic development. Attracting new businesses and supporting economic growth is crucial to Palm Bay's future. What's your vision for promoting economic growth beyond the usual retail business? You hear people complain a lot about the dollar stores, the gas stations, the
Didn't
the
we
you
address
know,
this one already?
huh?
Didn't we address this one?
I think we
not
probably
quiet, not
not
quiet.
quite. Yeah,
It's close to it.
yeah, we're close to it. How would you make sure it doesn't disrupt the character of the city? That's where I'm going. I'm looking at the character of the city. How do you retain the character of the city? Um, whose turn it was? I think it was Donnie's turn to go first. Go ahead.
Yes, Kevin, one of the things we did, or administration did in 2021, what we did, we got together with our stakeholders, our businesses, the developers, everybody that invests in our city. And we came up with, I apologize here, I'm sorry. I need to change this. Yes, we came up with a few ideas to what do all the community, the business community, what do they want from us? What can we do to encourage investment in our community? That's where the program of tax ad valorem tax abatement came from. So out of that, and I can tell you again, I mentioned earlier, 2,800 jobs. Some of them are not quite there yet, but anticipating job, those are good paying job. 5 companies, okay, 5 companies out of that program. Business Improvement District, Hub Zone. We talked about New Market Tax Credit, Opportunity Zone. So these are things that we've created that's currently in the books to attract new businesses, to create that sustainability that we've been talking about.
Now, in terms of you talking about, Dollar General, yes. So the optics of it, yeah, it seems like that's all that's coming. Or the latest is those storage units. But understand one thing though, some of these things we don't necessarily have. If they meet the requirement, we cannot pick and choose. To some degree, we have council understanding the legal aspect. A lot of these projects, if they meet the zoning, there's so much we can do. If we cannot come up with a valid reason where we should deny their application, we're putting the city in jeopardy. So we cannot say, Dollar General, we don't like you. Therefore, no, we don't want you here. We can't do that legally. We can't.
Yeah.
So people got to understand that there's so much we
Mhm.
can do, but we create those opportunities for new businesses to come to our community.
And I'm glad
We
you
will
cleared it
continue to
up
work
because
on that.
I see a lot of social media commentary, and folks don't understand that if the council flat out denied the project, it puts the city in harm's way legally. And so a
Correct.
lot of folks don't realize that. So thanks for clarifying that. Mike, your turn. Do you want to address?
Yeah, me myself, I just feel like, Palm Bay is that SoundCloud rapper that just put their music on SoundCloud and they're not, marketing it. They're not getting it out to people. We have more potential. We're only like almost 50% built out. We have more potential than any city along the whole East Coast. But we don't have a way of getting it out to people to come here. We have these great ideas, and it's awesome these great ideas are coming up. And I just feel we do not have the people that are pushing what we have out to the right people. Because right now, I went out to BMX. I approached them, and they're super interested. Whether whether it follows through, we have good motion for it. I think it's going to be something that's good. But I don't think we have the people that are getting out to these actual investors, to these business owners. Bringing more than a Chipotle and a Dairy Queen to us. Since I just don't. I don't think we're getting out to the right people. And it's something that I worked on in 2016. I made a series of videos. I worked with Harris, and I got with a bunch of the people that worked there, and I answered them or I asked them questions like we're doing right now. And I put these videos together and I sent it to investors that came here and actually invested in Palm Bay. And for a while we were booming on new commercial business. 20% of the business that was coming in here to Palm Bay was business and not so much residential. And I think we need to get back to that. I think we need to invest in better people and in getting our name out there. I don't think we're marketing Palm Bay how we should, because right now we're just coming, we have the people that are coming here, one, because it's convenient, and one, because it's cheap. We don't have people coming here because they want to be here. We don't have people that are inspired to be in Palm Bay and want to be part of Palm Bay. We used to have that. We had a group of venture capitalists that I worked with, a guy in Washington, D.C. that wanted to build a downtown here. The Margaritaville was originally supposed to come here. There's a lot of things that we have the potential for growth. I mean, there's nobody that has more potential for us. I think we just need the right resources to get who we are and what our council and our staff is doing right now to bring them in.
Okay, so that's a nice segue to my next question. And if you forgive me, let's forgo the 30-second rebuttal because of time. But downtown Palm Bay, pet peeve of mine, when am I getting it? And let's start with the incumbent, Donnie, because I need to know what is being done from the city's point of view to attract the business that's going to help create this, because it's like I see nothing's being done, and I've been here since 2009. There's been talks and talks and talks, and I don't see the progress. So when are we going to see progress on this forefront?
Kevin, I can tell you, this council created a vision. The MBA, BMU, like the Bayfront community, from Malabar north all the way to RJ Conlin. So that whole river corridor, that US 1 corridor, that's where we envision a potential downtown. I can tell you currently there's an investor that currently own over 30 parcels along that corridor. These things, the reality of the matter is, you've been here 9 years, I've been here 20 years, Kevin. These things takes time. They take time. The process, it's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of this council telling these people what we need or where we need them. It's a matter of, yes, we create the environment. So the gentleman that bought or Marina, the former, Marina. So that same client that same investor owns quite a bit of parcel. He's not the only one. There's others. We got to take a few things in consideration. It's not just a quarter property. It's market conditions as well. Market constantly changing. We got COVID we had to deal with in the last 3 years. So there's a lot to take into consideration. We don't snap our finger. If it was up for us, Kevin, with you, I'm with you. I want a downtown too. But we got to take a lot into consideration. Market condition is one of them. What do the market need at what time? It's not all my money or yours. It's those investors. They always constantly looked at the bottom line. We create that vision. They get it. That's why we particularly pick and choose who purchased those surplus property along that corridor. So people that capture the vision, that understand it, this is what council want. We will have a downtown, but I can tell you what we most likely will have now is those 15 minutes communities. We have Ashton Park coming up. Emerald Lake still there. Okay, Emerald Lake still there. We may have right down that corridor there. We may have 3 projects that give us that downtown feel within their own, the way it's going to be developed. So, Kevin, I don't know how soon. I cannot give you a date, but we will. I believe in our lifetime we will see it.
Mike, would you allow me, because he just said something that got my ears.
Go for it.
Emerald Lakes is still in play?
Emerald Lakes is still in play. Yeah, they did have a change of last I've heard, as recently as last month. We had a change of partnership because the 1,500 acres is owned by I believe it's 4 investors.
Right.
Mr. Pelosi, we know that the leader of that, he's been leading that whole movement for the last 15, 20 years. He's still in the game. I believe last we've heard, it's still on the table. I think it was a partnership change where they had to buy out one of the partners and so on and so forth. Last we know, it's still part of the conversation. But we may have others that come before. Ashton Park is one that most likely we may see before Emerald Lakes.
Okay. Mike, do you want to opine on this question?
Yeah, there's a couple things. First one, I'm glad he mentioned that marina because from what I've been told, that marina's a go and they want to build here, but they're having a hiccup with FWC. So if I am elected, that's one of the first things, as in business wise, getting them here that I'm going to work on. I think that's something that should have been put on the table the second that he told anybody with any kind of authority at the city, because that's huge. Having something in our, over there in the Bay would be a great start. Secondly, I love your downtown idea. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I showed you the renderings for the downtown district that was presented. And the district that Mr. Felix is talking about was the BCRA. And I want to say it's sunsetted already. If it hasn't, it's going to be really soon. But it's one of the things they were working on. There was a guy by the name of James Marshall. He was working with the venture capitalists to build the downtown district all the way from the Aqua development all the way to the corner of John Conlon, where John Conlon meets A1 or US 1, all the way down to where it meets Harris. And what it is it's a downtown district, but if you've ever been to Winter Park, it's not a downtown like, downtown Melbourne. It has shops. It has places that close at like 11:30 at night. It has restaurants. It has more of an eclectic feel than a downtown and let's party. You have, 4,900 people that work at Harris and want somewhere to go to lunch. and everybody says, let's build it, in the middle of Palm Bay, people aren't going to go to lunch there. They're going to be at their jobs in other places because Palm Bay doesn't have industrial. We don't have the jobs that Melbourne and stuff do. But in that area, in John Conlon, we do have the jobs. We do have people that want to go and eat. We do have people that want to go places after work. And right now, everybody's spending their money in Melbourne. We don't have the amenities that the other people do. And I love your downtown idea. And, I have those renderings I can show you. I even have the original renderings from when Margaritaville wanted to come here. So it's there. And, I talked to James Marshall, and he said that those venture capitalists would love to come back if they can get a commitment from the city that they're not going to push them away again.
Right.
So, it's there. The ability's there. We just need, a motivated team to go for.
And that's
I think,
what
it's just, we need, give it a little push.
Yeah, we need a little push. We need to get this over the rail. Guys, we need to wrap this up, but I do have two important questions I need to ask before we wrap up and you give your closing remarks. And I want to touch on housing affordability and homelessness. And before we wrap up, the first one, housing affordability, has become a real issue with prices going up and fewer options for low and middle income families. What policies would you put in place to ensure there's enough affordable housing, and how would you prevent long-term residents from being priced out? I forgot whose turn it was at this point in time. I think it's going to be Donnie, right?
Yeah.
Because Mike been lost. Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you, Kevin, and I'm proud to say it, I'm the only one on council right now that is, I should say I'm the loudest voice when it comes to housing affordability. Number one, we should consider it, Kevin. It's encourage the diverse style of housing. Diverse style of housing. What I mean by that is what you've seen in the past is a single family are being built all throughout the city. 80% of all housing today is single family. What we've done, what I change, and I ask, and anytime I'm talking to a developer, said we need to bring a diversity into our housing and give us those townhomes and those condos, that because a young person just starting out, a young teacher or a young police officer, they may not be able to afford a 1,800 square foot home, but they can afford that 1,400 townhome or condo. So number one, that's one aspect. We need to continue to encourage that, and I've done a great job at that. So what I did as well on that same topic is asking, and I'm the only one on council that would hold the applicants accountable when it comes to a apartment project, for example. My question to them: if you want my support to support your project, how much of your project you will dedicate for affordable housing or workforce housing? And I'm probably the only one on council that really challenge today. That really challenge those builders. I want 20%, I want 10%, and you can verify that. So, and I will continue to do so. I made it clear out there that we got to make sure, as you said, Kevin, we don't price out of low wages workers out of our city. Our first year police officer, or now they're getting paid a little bit better. Maybe they can afford a 2-bedroom apartment because prior they couldn't. All right. McDonald's shift manager, all teachers. So the question is, every time that comes up, a project comes up, you better believe I'm going to make sure to ask them to dedicate a certain percentage of their project to affordable housing. So I hope I answered your question, Kevin.
You did. Thank you so much. Mike, your turn.
I will say this, and I want you to leave his face up here for a second.
Okay.
Because I'm going to disagree with him. He has never, ever settled for 10%. It's always been 20% or he's not happy. So I will say that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
On one thing I will say is I don't think any housing is affordable anymore. I think we're using this term affordable housing to move people, to give these developers a place to be. And there's never a guideline. And I think I actually heard Mr. Felix say something the other night when, because the city awarded Macedonia more money, or I want to say property and money for, more housing and affordable housing. And one thing I don't think that's been addressed is how long it has to be affordable housing. And I think what's happening is these housing developments are coming in and, they're using the ruse of affordable housing. And 5 years later, they're luxury condos and nobody can afford it. I think that's something that we need to dive into and see who's gotten the funding. And, I'm not the biggest, on knowing the things to do for affordable housing, but we should have a heck of a staff that has great ideas for us to come through. And as one city council member, we can't really have all the answers and we can't make a decision on our own. We have to work as a team to come up with what we feel. And the best thing to feel is, yes, we should have, more affordable housing. Do we have it? No. Are the options that we've been giving so far good? No. So I think that needs to be addressed. And, I think it's, on the side's been addressed, but it needs to be handled a little better. And not just one person, being an advocate for it. We need to have 5 and then a whole staff being an advocate for it as well.
Okay, gentlemen. Thanks for letting me forego the rebuttals because this would prolong even more and we run out of time. Homelessness. So a law went into effect today. I'm pretty sure you guys probably know this. That pretty much says, and the residents probably aren't aware, for those who are watching this or will be watching this at a later point, that says that pretty much, to summarize it, I had a long spiel, but I want to summarize, if a homeless person is caught sleeping outside, they're going to be arrested, right? If they're caught sleeping anywhere, they're going to be arrested on the beaches, in the parks, on the sidewalks, etc. Any public spaces, they will be arrested. And that's pretty much the law. And that's a state law. And if cities and counties do not enforce this law, I think based on what I surmise, is that the state can come down on the cities and counties. And so, and that will start sometime in January, when that they will start implementing that rule of coming down on the cities and counties. This may have a severe impact on the city of Palm Bay. So my question to you, gentlemen, what do you think about this law? Is it a fair law? And given the Palm Bay City Council's current situation with resources and the capacity, how would you ensure that compliance is met with this law? If you're on the dais, and what would you do to make sure that our staff or public servants and make sure that they're in compliance? And what steps would you take to avoid potential lawsuits while still providing support for the homeless population? So who wants to take this first? I forgot where we left off. I think you want to take it, Mike? Okay, go ahead.
On mine, I don't know a lot of the things that we're even allowed to do for the homeless. I was actually told I'm not even allowed to give food to homeless people. So, there's a lot of things that need to be addressed. One, the only people that have been doing anything for the homeless people are the police department. It is not their job to go and maintain the people that can't afford to live. That's insanity to me, especially when we don't have anything to provide for them. It's I get it if it's like, okay, here's our resources. If you're not using our resources, yes, it's illegal. But it's like, as of right now, we don't have any resources for you, but it's illegal to survive. So I don't agree with it. I think there are things that we need to touch, that we need to touch base on. I mean, we can't even, like the city's not even allowed to raise their impact fees over 50%. over 4 years, but we're going to tell these people that they need to find, that they need to find somewhere to live right now. There needs to be steps. There needs to be options, and we're not giving them any options. I mean, people can argue homelessness is a choice. It's this and that, but I don't. I feel we should have compassion. I think we should be doing more as a community for homeless people. And it's just a slippery slope to even do anything, because these are God's people. These are one-time, someone's baby, someone's son, someone's daughter. And they're sitting there living, in this rain. This storm just went through and somebody was living in a bush. That is you're going to put somebody in jail for that. I can't stand by it.
I'm right here with you, buddy. I'm right here with you. Me and my wife, we have a thing every year. We around Easter time, we drive around, we cook dinner, we prepare, and we pretty much hand it out. That's our way of giving it back. Every Easter, that's something that we do. And so I'm with you. Donnie, you take it.
Yeah, Kevin, I think that's just an excellent question. I appreciate your touch base on that. I think I'm going to straight out and say it. It's an unfair law. We've seen things like that. Sometimes you question, and Mike kind of touched on that. You question the human aspect. The human aspects. It's almost like it wasn't taken in consideration at all. Some of these laws, and we've seen that at the state or neighboring city. You remember? I remember, and I'm going to call it out. In Melbourne, had a similar harsh law about a year or two ago. If we remember the discussion, bringing the daily bread right here in our community, it's because part of it, the city government in Melbourne, they passed a law in their downtown trying to chase away those folks that live down there, or panhandling, they call it, or whatever they do. They wanted to chase them out of downtown Melbourne. It was a harsh law, nothing as harsh as what the state is getting ready to implement. I'm gonna call it out for what it is. The human aspect of it, absolutely zero consideration when it comes to that. It's break my heart. If you look on my feed, my Facebook feed, you'll see me this past Saturday, joining a group of, and I wanted to say that to say this. One of a group of churches, a couple of churches, one from Palm Beach County. They have a sister church here. Every other Saturday, they come here. They feed. They provide food for homeless. Here, right here in the corner of Malabar and Babcock. I was with them, spent the time with them. More importantly, not only they feed them their body, provide for their physical need, they also pray with them. They share the gospel. I spent time with them, and really that made my day this past weekend. Just this past Saturday, that's what I was doing. Just to tell you, this is important to me, Kevin. I was the very first one when we were talking about our COVID money. How do we apply our COVID money? We realize homelessness is an issue. Affordable housing is an issue. How can we make, and the services that comes with that? I was the very first one. I said to staff and my colleagues, and I'm glad they went along with me. I said, if we're going to address those issues and put some money into them, let's take it seriously. Let's put serious money into it. Instead of $1 million, our staff suggested, so we end up with $5 million to address those three things: homelessness, affordable housing, and the services that comes with that. Just to tell you, I'm a champion for that, and I want to continue to do more. And here's what I would want to do, Kevin, moving forward, is those folks, the Brevard Homeless Coalition, I think they should be doing more, because they have unlimited funding. They have a lot of funding. They have their direct source of funding is the state. So they need to be doing more, especially in Palm Bay. We are the largest city. We probably have a larger homeless community. They need to be doing more within our community. We don't have a homeless shelter. I don't need to tell you guys that. So we need to see, okay, as this law getting ready to what is the plan? My understanding is part of it too. The state should be giving resources to those communities, to the county, to where we can provide a place for these people to a habitat for these people if we're going to chase them off our streets. So certainly, I think the church, it should be an effort where government and the non-for-profit, especially all churches, that I believe that's a mandate from the Bible, right? We should take care of the homeless, of the needies, the least of these. Those are those folks. So I'm willing to, like I did Saturday, join those churches in feeding the homeless every other Saturday. I'm inviting you guys to join us. Not this coming Saturday, the Saturday after. A church from all right here in our local community. And what an example that was. And that's truly, this is what we need to be doing more of. Yes, Mike, you can feed them. You can, there's no laws I know of that can prevent you from buying food for the homeless. I've drive by, I've seen somebody in need. I'll stop by and give them food, give them water, hang out and have a conversation. 5 minutes to know these people. Sometimes it's just mind blowing how they end up there. I'm always particularly interested.
I would rather give them the food than to give them money, and that's what I've taught my son over time in life. I said, if you pass them and you feel in your heart to do something, don't give them the money. Rather, give them the food. If you just drive to Chick-fil-A, buy them the food and hand it to them. Not so much cook, but buy the food, hand it to them. That to me would be a better deal. But anyways,
outside of that, it's like, we don't have enough police officers already.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have them dealing with this.
Yeah, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be overwhelming.
We got to look at court dates. We got to work. We got to worry about providing them a public defender at $250 an hour. Then we got to worry about.
I don't know, Donnie, if from the city level, if since you're currently sitting on the dais, if a letter could be sent to the state legislature saying, "Hey, listen, this has already passed. However, we feel is unfair. Is going to be a burden to our city, et cetera, et cetera."
Yeah, but that just makes us that makes us a place of refuge.
That too.
It is something, it needs to be addressed.
It is.
We need to have the proper resources, and what we're doing right now should have been after all resources have been measured and not to start with.
Yeah, and I think we're the only state that's doing
this,
right?
Spend more money in
Florida. Yeah,
we're the only state that's doing this. Yeah, we're the only state that's doing this. So, anyways, let's wrap up, guys, because we are well over time, and so we're going to give each of you your opportunity to give the closing remarks. And so we had agreed to 2 minutes for the closing statements. So who wants to go first?
Donnie, you can go first, sir.
Well, I started, Mike. You sure you don't want to go first?
No, I will.
All right, hold on, Mike. Let me remove everybody from the screen so you can.
Okay. First off, I want to thank you, Kevin. Thank you for everything that you do for our community. All the help that you do. You're always trying to get everybody involved, getting us involved, getting me and Mr. Felix, on here talking to our community. I want to thank Donnie for having a awesome campaign, respectful, been a gentleman the whole time. I've at the end of this, I've met a lot of good people. I would say this is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And it's not even, just to be in a campaign, I would say managing my campaign. It's things that I've learned on the way. I've learned, being a leader of the community, you're a leader not just for your home, but you're a leader for 140,000 people. We lost Staff Sergeant Tristan Wright, and one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life was follow his body back here. And he was a hero. My son thinks of him as a hero. And, I just want to be thankful for everything that we have here. Thank everybody for the opportunity, for the support, for your support, Kevin, for everything that we have going forward. I think the city has a lot of potential. And, I think, we have two paths to take, coming up in this election. And it's I think we need to start the accountability tour 2024 and, start making people accountable for the things that we want to see in Palm Bay, and not just here it is. We're doing what we can. I need to see results, or I'm going to find somebody who can give me the results. And I'm done.
Okay, sir. Thank you. 1 second. Let me remove from the screen and let's bring Donnie up. All right, Donnie.
Kevin, thank you so much for the opportunity. I truly, it's invaluable, the service you provide for the community, because I can tell you we all have different talents. What you do, I cannot do. So certainly, I certainly appreciate it. Mike as well. I mean, you've been nothing but a gentleman as well. I would say the same. And you definitely. I told you that private and public. You changed my view. I didn't know you. I don't think we ever met, but certainly, the idea, it's always important to get to know people, right? You get to know people, then you're like, wow, okay. So you really give me that feeling. I certainly appreciate it. As we said, we both agree, win or lose, and this relationship should continues. And I think you have a lot to offer. Certainly would continue that conversation. I'd say with that, the choice is yours. On November 5th. I mean, hopefully you don't wait till November 5th. You start voting as of next week. Mail ballots coming out. I would certainly ask that you keep me in the position. I want to believe that I've done great work. Definitely have Palm Bay's best interest at heart. Every decision I made, every vote I take, I never think about my next election. In fact, I'm probably the only one on council that I freely vote. I don't have anybody from higher up or from political party that in my ears, saying that you vote this way, you this, that. I'm probably the only free agent. So I want to continue to fight for you to be that guy, okay, that cares, to be that guy that care about this community. I'm vested. I pay thousands of dollars in tax every year. My grandson's growing here. My kids are growing here. I'm vested in this community. I want to leave a better place for them. I want to leave a better place for your kids as well. Please keep me in office. Give me another 4 years to continue to fight for you. Certainly, experience matter. Experience count. I think it's pretty clear. The experience that I've acquired, even before council, the last 4 years on council, I want to continue to put it to work for you and continue to work hard for you. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Donnie Felix, and you can check me out, votedonniefelix.com. Or you can also email me at votedonniefelix@gmail.com. Thank you so much. 321-205-3942. I would love your support, your time, and your donation as well. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for joining me tonight, and thanks for accepting the invitation to be on the platform so we can discuss the issues that is affecting the citizens that we serve. And I say that wholeheartedly. I'm not an elected official, but I always strive to think that I am serving my community. This is how I was raised, right? And this is just embedded in me. I went to the military, and everything that you see is the stuff that's been instilling me over time. That, hey, listen, always find a way to give back, and this is my giving back. And so, folks,
you were my first call when after I filed. Remember?
Yeah. I remember you contacting me and asking me for advice and opinions and that kind of thing. And I like that. And and I do get a lot of those calls, Republicans, Democrats. They call me, hey, Kevin, I see you have this platform. I know you've been around, you're doing this, and et cetera, et cetera. I need your opinion. And I, when you get to that level where folks are calling me for your opinion, you're like, they really value your advice. So I'm like, okay, so I got something going on here. But anyways, I thank you again. And we're gonna go watch the ending of the debate if it's still happening. So have a good night, gentlemen. We'll see you soon. Good luck on the campaign trail, and hopefully I will be able to reach you on campaign day if you do win, and we can talk about your victory. And so, good night, guys, and talk to you soon.
Good night.
Okay,
Good night,
later,
Pompey.
Johnny.
All
Good
right.
night.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.